Now, we know last week we said that this would be our winter recap episode of Snow Search, but there are a couple of things we want to talk about here as we close out the month of March and even open the month of April. It's meteorologist Joe Martucci here. Good to be with you, and good to be with you, Sean. What's going on?
It is good to be with you as well. It is windy down here today as we record this. A lot of wind gusts running upwards of 30 and 40 miles an hour. Watching out for some wildfires in the western part of the Commonwealth today. Because yeah, it's warm and windy.
Yeah, it actually just got warm and is getting windy as we record this at 3:12 p.m. here in Jersey as well. We're in the 60s for today in most of inland South Jersey. Now we'll talk about Snow Search here for today. If you are just joining us, it is a look at snow and cold threats for next week. That's the week of March 25th. Broad forecast for individual storms, or in this case, we're talking about the chill to come, and it's from the mid-Atlantic on up into New York State. We've been doing this since late November of 2023. So I want to start off with the polar vortex. Yes, the polar vortex. Always a big buzzword here, but there's a reason for this. You see that big blue area? Well, it's over Quebec, Canada, and Labrador, and even extending into New England and parts of the Northeast, aka where we do Snow Search. And what this is showing is where the stratospheric polar vortex is. What happens is the polar vortex is about 100,000 feet high. When it goes over a particular location, that typically means 10 to 14 days down the road, we're going to see that reaction at the surface, meaning colder than average temperatures and a stormier pattern here. So what this is telling us is that as we go into late next week and early March, we are looking for a polar vortex intrusion. Now, admittedly, a polar vortex intrusion around
You mean early April there, Chief, just to say.
What did I say?
You said early March, but keep going.
We know what you meant. No, we're done with early March.
We know what you meant. Keep it rolling.
All right, late March into early April. There we go. Is not the same kind of polar vortex intrusion as the middle of January. So if you're a snow lover, you love the cold, it's kind of like a too little, too late situation. But I do believe if you're in New England, especially, yeah, snow is certainly on the table for the next couple of weeks. Now, we take a look at our indices. We look at the North Atlantic Oscillation. That's a big one here when it's negative. Stormy and colder weather is forecasted, but we look to be pretty neutral for next week. We go to the Arctic Oscillation, which again shows that negative trend for us. So that's showing some colder and stormier patterns. And then the Pacific North American pattern is just neutral. So there's not a lot of influence here, but there is a slight lean towards a colder and stormier pattern. And as Sean is going to show you in the next couple of minutes, that certainly looks to be the case. But we do want to talk quickly about what we're expecting Friday into Saturday.
Yeah, normally we look at this coming week, but there is a very big storm that's going to affect the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast this Saturday, a genuine coastal storm. For most places, let's say in South Jersey and down to North Carolina, it is just going to be rain. But if you're in upstate New York here, Albany to Auburn, going up to Glens Falls, we want to track this for you here. First thing in the morning on Saturday, broader area of snow and some legit accumulating snow through the first few hours of Saturday morning and early Saturday afternoon. Going southward from the Mohawk Valley, from Albany and down toward the city, it's probably just going to be rain. But as you go into some of the higher elevations in upstate New York, do look for some accumulating snow winding down sometime late Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. There's the big polar vortex. As we're going to look at the mid-level weather pattern that Joe alluded to earlier. That's the real core of the cold. But as we move the mid-level weather pattern ahead for the next couple of days, you watch the cold slowly retreat off to the north and east. That big L down there over Virginia and Carolina is the core of the storm system that is going to bring the rain into Virginia, North Carolina, Jersey, and the snow to upstate New York. But once that shifts offshore toward the middle of next week, you see those kind of warm colors, oranges and yellows, bubbling northward over Virginia and North Carolina. That's going to show some much warmer air aloft, which is basically going to cut any threat of rain or snow for a couple of days. We call that a ridge of high pressure, and that's going to hold firm for a few days, making these weaker storm systems coming in toward the end of next week not hold together particularly well, bring probably just a little bit of light rain. And then as we think even further, we don't see it's been really warm in a lot of the east for 2 or 3 weeks until the last couple of days. We do see kind of a regression to the mean, as we say in statistics, with the temperatures closer to normal from Jersey down through a lot of the southeast. And the core of the cold is probably going to start to shift farther westward out toward the Midwest, upper Midwest. So when it's colder than normal there, it really gets your attention even into this late in the year. So I think the bigger story is all this warmth we've had for about 30 days is finally taking a back seat for a while, Joe.
Yeah, and like you said, it did this week, and then
Mhm.
we even look to be just seasonable, if not below average, as we close out March into early April here. We have our temperature outlook. This is from the Climate Prediction
Mhm.
Center. Really, we're just looking for a neutral trend for most of New Jersey and Pennsylvania on south towards your way, Sean. A slight lean warmer than average in upstate New York, but here's the thing. This is an average of all of those days from the 27th to
Yeah.
the 2nd. Like we were kind of saying just about a minute ago, once we get towards the 29th, 30th, 1st, likely to be average, slightly below average here. So, you have to kind of take these maps with a grain of salt, but generally we're looking for these temperatures to not be in the 60s and 70s and 80s as we go into the turn of the month. So we'll close it out with our notes here for the week of March 25th. Early week warmth, but it's not going to hang around for long. We are looking for a cold shot from the 27th to the 29th and probably extending later into the month of March, but our average temperatures climb as well. What is average in late March is not the same as what's average in early March, and it does look like this winter-ish feel will continue until early April. So, with that being said, Sean, we got to do a little searching ourselves. Is it maybe a little soul searching, some soul food searching, beer searching? What do we
Let me tell
got?
you what I have to research my new brackets because, as you might have heard, University of Virginia got embarrassed in the very opening
I
round
did
of
hear.
the NCAA tournament. It is all the buzz down this way about just how badly they perform. I mean, this is a school that 5 years ago won the whole thing. So there's a lot of people a little frustrated here right now. So we're searching, we're doing a little soul searching, if you will,
There you
about
go.
what's going on with the University of Virginia basketball program.
I'll keep it with March Madness because I'm searching for Ken Pomeroy. Ken Pom himself, he is the master of college basketball. He changed the way analytics are done in the sport. But here's the thing, he is a meteorologist. Go figure. People do say, meteorologists can do anything with a roll of tape and a stapler. And, he manages to just take matters into his own hands and created this wonderful source of analytics for college basketball that's used by everybody. He used to work at the National Weather Service. Ken Pom was making too much money and he left the Weather Service. And now he gets to reside and watch college basketball all the time and created this great tool. Ken, if you're watching out there and you want to join Snow Search, we'll put a third box somewhere on the screen for you. So just let us know. All right, we're going to wrap it
Always
up for
working
this
it,
week's
buddy.
edition of...
Always working it. And that's what we love about you. Always working it.
That's right. Yeah, well, you're your own best advocate, as I like to
Yes,
say.
sir.
Anyway, we will be back with you next week here. We will let you know if it's a winter recap or if it's a look ahead. We will talk about it. And thank you again for watching Snow Surge.